So this morning I opened by talking about how I appreciate the immediate feeling of acceptance and worthiness that I felt when I first started attending Northwoods. If you've ever been to a visitor's meet and greet that I've led, especially back when we used to do them in person, um, you might have heard me say if you showed up at Northwoods wearing a giant human-sized banana costume, nobody would even blink an eye. They'd just ask you where you got it. um, so this community is like truly welcoming and accepting of everyone, and no matter who you are. And as long as you agree to try to adhere to our 7 principles and question and discuss them naturally. The very first Unitarian Universalist principle is that we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. The children's version of this, which I actually really like too, is we believe that every person is important. I think of this as the foundation upon which all of our other beliefs is built. Matthew Rosen's reading earlier was hopefully a comforting reflection on self-worth and how each and every one of us matters. We matter to the people we interact with, of course. We also matter to those who experience a process or a physical gift we've made our mark on, like a garbage disposal we fixed for a neighbor or a spouse, or art we've made that others find wonder in. Even today, as we're in this service together, we matter to each other just for being here. We matter because it means we're not alone, that there's someone else out there that believes in the same things we do. I didn't grow up as a UU. I'm sure many of you can relate to how there are some religious denominations that introduce doubt when it comes to self-worth, even as a child. Some believe that children are born as sinners and must repent and strive to become worthy. Maybe you grew up that way. I heard it being taught to me, but I don't think that particular tenet really took root in my psyche. I grew up a healthy, fairly self-confident and bright kid with a supportive family. I was good at math and science and chose to pursue chemical engineering, probably one of the hardest things I could have picked, but there was no self-doubt, not at that point. No problem, I got this. I went across the country to go to school, and I was ready to experience my wide open spaces with my binders full of CDs from the Dixie Chicks, Now the Chicks, and other emotional / teen angsty music. It was difficult to make it through engineering school, but even though I began to doubt myself somewhat, I never felt unworthy of what I was seeking. I chose a profession which started in chemical plant operations, something that was, as you can imagine, highly male-dominated, which really brought up some more self-doubt. But I still felt like, this can work. I don't have to turn into a man just because I'm the only woman in the plant or area or region of the entire country. I could still be me. I will matter, and I'll make a difference. I credit my parents for instilling in me that being your authentic self is rewarding. We have a saying, which my mom, who's here, will appreciate, which is, you can only be who you are. And we joke about it, and we use it to make fun of each other sometimes, but it's true. You can only be who you are. It's certainly been painful over the years for me, especially the years I've been working, to try and fit a square peg into a round hole. And maybe you can relate to that. I spent many years at a company that expected me to conform. I rail against that. I so often felt like I just didn't fit. And my brand of who I was, my authentic self, was not a good match. It wasn't good enough for my employer. My message for you is to not do that. Do not waste the time you have on earth feeling like you're not good enough. You are you, and you are enough. Sharing your true self with the world is scary for some of us, but only you have your unique combination of skills, personality, and gifts. No one else is like you. The unique gifts each of us contribute create tremendous diversity, which brightens up the world with new connections, new ideas, and new solutions. But what about growth? I spent much of my life trying to figure out how to be a better person. This is a noble goal. I definitely think we should strive to improve and grow. While we're on the growth journey, though, we're also still enough. We can choose not to think of self-worth as either or, as in we're either growing or enough. Simply trying to be better makes us great. Fairly soon after I had my first son, I was talking with my women's networking group at work about how to have it all. This was around the time the book Lean In by Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg came out, purporting that women can have it all. There was also the subsequent piece in The Atlantic by Anne-Marie Slaughter about how women can't have it all. I'll give you a quick recap of those two viewpoints before I share what it meant to me. Lean In had a lot of great messages in it, like women need to ask for and expect equal partnership from their spouses or partners in non-work responsibilities like child rearing. Another major point was that if you're invited to sit in a meeting, someone wants you there, so you should speak up. Don't sit in the back and be a wallflower. The author Sheryl Sandberg also took some heat for insinuating that women need to take control of their own careers versus the corporate system needing to change, and that women should perhaps give up some of the parenting responsibilities that actually make many women feel very fulfilled. In contrast, Anne-Marie Slaughter wrote a piece that essentially said women cannot have it all except if they're super rich, self-employed, or superhuman. She argues that most women in high-profile careers actually have unequal partners who are the primary caregivers for their family. I read Lean In first and then read the piece in The Atlantic. So I got all fired up that yes, I can do this, like I'm destined for greatness and I can do everything. And then I read the other article and then, actually maybe I can't. The system stinks. And this system does still stink. But I didn't know about Unitarian Universalism at that point. But as any UU would be proud of, I, of course, questioned both of these viewpoints and then came up with something totally different for myself. I was still so fresh as a mother. I only had a 2-year-old at the time, if I can remember right, how little I knew. But back then at that women's group meeting, when we were talking about have it all, I had this light bulb moment. And what I decided was that, sure, there were pros and cons in both of these smart women's arguments, but I think I define having it all a little differently. I was thinking about how I could be me, authentically myself, and have it all. To me, having it all is having an okay balance in my life. For me, that means at least trying to do some exercise and taking care of my health, being present with, responsible for, and loving towards my kids, being a loving spouse and family member and friend, contributing to the world in a professional way of some kind, and taking time to do things that refill my cup. Having it all probably means something different to you, and it should. Having it all for me at that time as a working mom with a toddler meant that I didn't have to be the best at all of those things on my identity list. It meant that as long as I was trying to do a good job, that was enough. I was enough. And as soon as I took that societal pressure off of myself, it was just like a giant weight was lifted. I didn't need to be uber ambitious that if that didn't work with my family and family situation, but I could still stand up for myself professionally and achieve and be proud of my accomplishments. I didn't need to be the mom who breastfed for 2 years and pureed her own baby food. If you did that, that's excellent for you. That's being enough for you. Being enough for me and being authentically me is accepting that what I'm doing to try to make it through the world doesn't change my inherent worth. We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of all people. I have worth and I have made a difference to the people who have met me and who are close to me. There's so much going on right now to cause self-doubt. I'm sure you or someone you love is worried sick about kids and education right now. I want to tell all of you You are doing a great job. You care about kids and education. You care about the community. You care about teachers. You care about your family. You are doing an excellent job. No matter what decisions you make, you are doing an excellent job in an extremely difficult time because you are you. You care about people around you. We will get through this together and we will support each other. Do not doubt your value as a parent, educator, family member, or confidant. You are enough. You are doing enough. Yes, maybe one day you will look back and say you might have picked a different path. But the paths we take lead us to wherever we're meant to go. And only you can pick that path. Be who you are. Believe in your own self-worth. It is a lovely way to live, to accept yourself and share that acceptance with others. It's contagious. Your light helps brighten the dark world around you. You are you, and no one else is you. You have inherent self-worth. We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of all people. You matter, and you are enough.